The Vorrak Empire had seen countless worlds, each falling with ease before their technological might. Earth was just another primitive rock in the void, a planet overgrown with chaotic wilderness and outdated weapons. Their fleet hovered unseen above the atmosphere, scanning landscapes, analyzing potential resources, and dismissing any real threat. A detachment of Vorrak soldiers descended to the surface, their exosuits gleaming under the alien sun. Their boots crunched against the undergrowth as they advanced through dense forests, their advanced scanners humming in the silence. Earth's unpredictable terrain and lack of urban infrastructure amused them. "This is what they call a planet," one soldier scoffed, pushing aside thick foliage. "It's a mess of uncontrolled vegetation and unpredictable weather." Their commander smirked. "Their kind relies on instinct rather than technology. No wonder they haven't left their atmosphere." The Vorrak took pride in control, in worlds sculpted to their needs. Here, nature ran rampant. Rivers carved paths without reason, winds howled unpredictably, and the ground itself shifted beneath their boots. It was beneath them, unrefined, unstructured, and inefficient. They moved with confidence, their technology ensuring their safety. In their experience, civilizations that still relied on projectile weapons were laughable at best. Earth's lack of energy-based weaponry was proof enough that its inhabitants were nothing more than an inconvenience, not a challenge. Yet, something felt off. Their scanners, normally precise to the micrometer, flickered. Signals distorted. Heat signatures appeared and vanished as if the planet itself was interfering. Their instruments told them the land was empty. But it wasn't. High above, nestled in the thick branches of a towering tree, a human sniper adjusted his rifle. His ghillie suit blended seamlessly into the foliage, making him a ghost among leaves. Through his scope, he observed the enemy, arrogant, unaware, and perfectly aligned in his crosshairs. He let out a slow breath, steadying his aim. Patience was key. He wasn't just watching them. He was studying them, learning their weaknesses. The Vorrak commander signaled his unit to spread out, dismissing the growing unease among his soldiers. There was no way a backwater species posed any real danger. A mistake he would come to regret. The Vorrak soldiers advanced deeper into the wilderness, their movements growing more agitated. Their technology should have given them complete dominance, yet their scanners remained unreliable. Drones sent ahead lost contact, their signals swallowed by the terrain. Something about this planet resisted them in ways they didn't understand. One soldier kicked a fallen branch aside. "I don't get it. How did these primitives even survive this long? This place is a death trap." Their commander remained unimpressed. "Survival isn't the same as power. They're still beneath us." Another soldier chuckled, tapping his helmet. "And yet our systems are acting like we're the ones lost in the wild." Laughter rippled through the group, but it was uneasy. Then, a sound, quick, sharp, unnatural. Heads turned, weapons raised. Nothing but trees, wind, and shadows. Then one of them vanished. No scream, no struggle, just gone. Panic set in. The unit fanned out, scanning the area, weapons primed. A soldier activated thermal imaging, expecting to see a heat signature. There was nothing. A metallic scent filled the air. Another soldier turned to speak, but froze. His eyes locked on something carved into a nearby tree. Blood, smeared in a deliberate mark, one that didn't belong to any Vorrak script. It was human. The commander ripped off his helmet, studying the symbol. Primitive, yet purposeful. He recognized it now, something buried in intelligence reports. A warning. A claim. A declaration of war. The realization settled like a stone in his gut. They had mistaken Earth's wilderness for weakness. They had mistaken a lack of advanced technology for inferiority. But this place wasn't uncontrolled. It was a battlefield designed by those who had mastered it. Another noise. A rustling, but not from the wind. A shadow moved in the trees. Weapons turned, fingers tightening on triggers. But there was nothing there. The Vorrak weren't the hunters anymore. They were prey. The remaining Vorrak soldiers stumbled through the undergrowth, their retreat frantic. Their once cohesive unit had dissolved into scattered individuals, each man focused only on survival. Their advanced armor, designed to withstand plasma fire, was useless against an enemy who knew exactly where to strike. Every step, every breath, felt like an invitation for death. The sniper did not fire immediately. He let the fear settle, let them hear their own ragged breathing, let them realize just how powerless they were. Then, another shot. A Vorrak officer jerked forward, a bullet tearing through the weak spot in his armor at the base of his skull. He was dead before he hit the ground. The survivors no longer moved with military precision. They scrambled like prey, abandoning any thought of counterattack. Some discarded their heavier weapons, their cumbersome gear now a liability. The Vorrak had conquered countless worlds, but they had never fought in a place where the terrain itself was an enemy, where even the air felt like it whispered death. The commander knew retreat was not just shameful, it was dangerous. The Vorrak Empire did not tolerate failure. But as he heard another rifle crack and saw another soldier fall, he realized there was no salvaging this mission. He activated his distress beacon. A last resort. A silent admission of defeat. The Vorrak sprinted for their extraction point. Their shuttle's thrusters roared as it descended, side-mounted cannons scanning for threats. But there was nothing to lock onto. Their enemy remained unseen, a phantom in the trees. As the last few soldiers scrambled aboard, the commander turned for one final look. The forest was silent. No sign of their attacker. No sign that he had ever been there. But the Vorrak knew better now. Just before the shuttle doors closed, the commander spotted something carved into a tree near the clearing. A symbol. A human skull with a single bullet hole. A warning. A promise. A claim. They were never the hunters. They were always the prey. The Vorrak transport broke through Earth's atmosphere, its thrusters burning hard as it ascended toward the fleet. Inside, the surviving soldiers sat in silence, their armor scuffed, their pride shattered. No one spoke. There was nothing to say. The commander replayed the mission in his mind, searching for an explanation. How had an enemy with no energy weapons, no orbital defenses, no visible army, inflicted such devastation? Every battle he had fought before had been about superiority, firepower, numbers, technology. But this war had been fought on different terms. On human terms. As they docked with the command ship, high-ranking officers awaited them. Their expressions hardened at the sight of so few returning. The Vorrak did not tolerate weakness. The commander saluted, but no one returned the gesture. A superior officer stepped forward. "Explain." The words tasted bitter. "They are not defenseless." The officer frowned. "Their technology is inferior. Their civilization is fractured. Their military is outdated. What could they possibly have that justifies this failure?" The commander met his gaze. A will to win. A willingness to adapt. The patience to wait for the right shot, no matter how long it takes. We walked into their world thinking we were gods. But we were already dead the moment they saw us. Silence hung in the air. The Vorrak were conquerors. They had crushed empires older and stronger than Earth's fledgling civilization. But for the first time, they had encountered something different. Not an enemy who fought with numbers or brute force, but one who fought with understanding. Who let the battle come to them. Who saw war not as a matter of pride, but as survival itself. Reports were filed. Analysis was conducted. The Vorrak fleet remained in orbit for hours, considering their next move. But the conclusion was unavoidable. Earth was not worth the cost. The Vorrak Empire labeled the planet a high-risk zone. Not because of its weapons, but because of its people. Because of what lurked in its shadows. Because of warriors who didn't need advanced technology to win a war, they only needed a rifle, patience, and the knowledge that, in the end, all it took was one shot. The fleet departed without another word. No retaliation. No second wave. Just empty space where an empire had once thought to claim a world. On the surface, deep in the wilderness, the sniper listened through intercepted transmissions. He heard the retreat order. Heard the fear hidden beneath the alien voices. Heard the unspoken respect. He ejected the spent casing from his rifle and let it fall into the dirt. The battle was over. For now. But if they ever returned, they would find the same message waiting for them. Earth does not forgive. Earth does not forget. And most of all, Earth does not surrender.